Have you ever felt like you've had the same conversation over and over again? I've been in Canada for about 2 years now. And there's one conversation that I must have had about 100 times. And tonight, for the 101st time, I'm going to share it with you folks. It usually happens when I meet somebody for the first time, and we get to talking, and then at some point in the conversation, they start talking about something that I, as a newcomer to Canada, have no idea what the hell they're talking about. It goes something like this. Hey, Connel, did you hear about the game last night? Did you watch it? It was a triple play, and Donaldson was gunning for third, and Batista was going for second, and I say, whoa, hold on. Yeah, I don't quite get baseball just yet. And then you hear the crickets. I say, what do you mean you don't get baseball? Like, what are you? Like, you see, then I got to explain, I'm a newcomer to Canada, so, baseball is one of those things I'm still trying to catch up on. And they get it. Oh, okay, I understand. So which part of India are you from? More crickets. And I say, well, no, I'm not actually from India. I was born and raised in Dubai. Wow. It's pretty funny when people do that, because, like, to me, it was, Dubai is just Dubai, it was home for me. But out here, a lot of people think that Dubai, wow, it's this great place. Now, I'm here to tell you guys that everything the media has told you about Dubai, the money and the luxury and the gold and the glitz and the glamour, yeah, it's all true. And we start talking about what my life was like in Dubai and compared to Canada. And I say, well, I had the same job pretty much between Dubai and Canada. It's just that over there I was making more than double of what I am over here. Tax-free, so it's all money in the pocket. I was living in a luxury 2,000 square foot marble floored condo, and out here I'm in a modest little rental apartment. Oh, and I drove a brand new top-of-the-line Nissan Pathfinder. And over here, well, I got a Nissan Sentra. And it's about at this point in the conversation where they always ask me the same question. Any guesses? Why the hell did you leave, to be exact? And I tell them it's because I was living in fear. And I go, what? What do you mean you're living in fear? Like, you mean you get your hand chopped off or something? It's the Middle East, right? No, don't go that far. And then I find it tough to explain, like, what I meant by fear. So what I do is instead I just explain the facts of my situation back in Dubai. And I start with my residency. And I say, well, Dubai doesn't have a citizenship program. Well, what do you mean they don't have a citizenship program? Well, it means that I needed to have a work permit to live there. I needed to have a job. But you were born there. Yeah. You've lived there for 33 years. Yeah. And your parents have lived there for how long? Well, close to 50. And you still need a job. I don't get, well, what happens if you lose your job? Well, then I got to leave the country, or find a new job, or leave the country. Well, where would you go? Well, hold on, let me check my passport. It says I'm from India, apparently, so that's where I got to end up. Never lived there before, but that's where I got to go. At this point, they still don't get it, right? They still understand. So I said, okay, here's the Canadian equivalent of that. Okay, imagine for a second that in Canada, the only folks who have citizenship are the Aboriginal folks, and everyone else is on a work permit. That's kind of like the document you get if you're a foreign student and you come out here, and once you graduate, you get a one-year document that says you got to find a job and keep it or get out. That's what that's like. You say, wow, that's got to be rough. Well, hold on. Okay, let's just assume that the economy is going to always be great and you always have a job. What if something happens to you that you can't work anymore, like health-wise? What happens then? And I said, yes, they have a term for that. It's called deportable diseases. So if you get AIDS or tuberculosis or any of the HEPs and a whole bunch of others, you're out of here. That's why they make you do a medical test every 3 years when you got to renew your work permit. And say, wow, man, you've got that's really risky. When you said you were living in fear, I thought you meant like, the crime rate is high or something. I say, no, Dubai is an exceptionally safe city. There's a reason for that. Yep, you commit a crime, you're jailed and deported. Wow, you committed a crime, so you mean like if you murder somebody or you rob a bank? No, man. Committing a crime in Dubai means if you swear in public or flip somebody off or have sex outside of marriage, or your DUI or marijuana. I know people who have personally been jailed and deported for these reasons. And heaven forbid that a victim of this crime is an Emirati, the original Aboriginals. They would do everything they can in their power to go up the chain of command to make sure that your days in Dubai are numbered. They play this trump card. So now do you see why I kind of wanted to move out here? And then they go, yo, fist bump, man, welcome to Canada. What the hell took you so long? Man? Yeah. Moving out of Dubai and coming here to Canada was one of the hardest decisions I had to make. I mean, talk about comfort zone, right? And, it's understandable if you come from a war-torn country or you come from a country where you're suffering from poverty or corruption or pollution. Sure, Canada it's a safe, beautiful haven for your future. But this was Dubai. And as human beings, we're so drawn to the bigger house, the bigger money, the bigger car. I had all those things. So why'd I move? It's because I started to realize that, Dubai is like they dangle a golden diamond-encrusted carrot on the end of a stick, and people follow that. But for me, while everyone else is mesmerized by the carrot, I started noticing the stick. But I was still in two minds. And I remember the date. It was August 20th, 2013 was the day I made up my mind. My wife was at the end of her second trimester. We went to the hospital, the best, most beautiful I've ever seen her. And the doctor said 3 little words that made up my mind. It's a girl. Right then and there, I knew that I wanted to give little Caitlin something that my family couldn't give me, my parents couldn't give me, which is growing up in a place that she could call home. I wanted to get her out of this male-dominated society, move to a place where she could be the next Melinda Rogers, the next Maya Crombie, the next Celine Dion, wherever she wanted to be. And the funny thing is, the biggest cultural shock for me coming out here is I'm standing in the middle of Toronto, I'm looking around like, holy crap, there are a lot of women around here. And it was so enlightening to see how empowered they are. Maybe you guys don't know it, but trust me, it is there. So I made up my mind. I was on the last leg, making my plans, and the last hurdle I had to face was my family. So my parents and my siblings, God bless them, they were only looking out for me, as all parents do. And they were telling me, Connel, what's wrong with you? This is the worst decision you're ever going to make in your life. Like, you're going to move out there, you're not going to find a job. Look at the papers. Have you seen what's going on in Canada? There are gun shootings, the economy is so bad, you're never going to find work, and you're going to be shoveling snow for the rest of your life. And even Canadians in Dubai were telling me, you're going to Canada? Good luck. 2 years, you're going to be either working survival jobs, suffering, and then trust me, you're going to be back here. Well, it's been 2 years. And in that time, I got a job at Rogers 2 weeks after I landed, got promoted to a manager's position, authored a book, and started my own business. So I'd go back to these folks and tell them, thank you for telling me that I couldn't do it, because that's exactly what I needed to get it done. Today I'm standing on the stage in front of you folks, fearless. And, as human beings, we take things for granted. And sometimes all it takes is for a newbie to Canada, still struggling with the rules of baseball, to get on a stage and remind us that the best things in life are free. And what I want you guys to do tonight is to go home and think of one thing that we as proud Canadians have that no other country can buy. Don't say snow, because Dubai put a ski dome in the middle of the goddamn desert. So anything that's close to your heart, whether it's your freedom, whether it's your culture, whether it's the Niagara Falls, or whether even if it's a fact that you live in a place where the average temperature outside isn't 50 degrees Celsius, you can actually go outside. Whatever that is to you, think about it, remember it, smile, and be proud. Thank you.